It's time for some early WWE Clash in Paris predictions. Drop yours below, comment, do all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you guys end up enjoying this. My name is Matt. Welcome to Assemble. Let's talk about matches we know about and what could be on the card. It's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 7 matches, but what do you think? For me, I hope they go and they learn a little lesson from Evolution, because that card was on the main show was 7, I believe. And you know what? It flew by. They gave enough matches, enough time. They told some good stories. And I think that they could just, get away from just 5 matches, making it so tight. That's what she said. So the first match would be Stephanie Vaquer versus Naomi, the World Heavyweight Champion. This was confirmed, obviously, as Stephanie won at Evolution, and now she is going to get that title match, Clash in Paris. I still don't think it's time yet to pull the trigger on Stephanie. I think this is going to be one of those awesome showcase matches for her, so everyone, even a wider audience, can see what she can do. Because she's been on the main roster for, feels like a month or two now, but we haven't really seen her mix it up on the big stage, the big title match. I think it is almost a stress test in a way, because she's not in a big head-to-head program, she was just #1 contender. And Naomi has been having the matches with Rhea, with Io, and mixing it up with all of them. I don't see Stephanie pulling off the title victory this soon. I think it's a chance, like I said, for WWE. How do the fans react to her overall, which I assume would be very positive, so do a devil's kiss and everyone will go bananas. But much like SummerSlam, I think Naomi squeaks out the victory. A roll-up, cheeky win, disqualification, something where it's a protected loss against Stephanie so that she is now going to be firmly up in the title division, and it makes sense for her to be up there, because I love after Clash that we do see Stephanie in the mix with Rhea, Io, Naomi, and everybody else. I will say Naomi retains. Now another match, a women's match that I also think they might do at Clash. I'm talking about Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch. Now I actually really liked their promo on Raw, where like Becky's just ripping into her and mentioning the John Cena stuff. It was great. So I really like their back and forth, and I think that they would probably position this as a generational match, a different era of women in wrestling, and going from the Divas era to whatever Becky Lynch would be, I guess the modern era. If they do that, I do think that they would be the match. I think it's bigger than having it on Raw. And if they want to get to around 7 matches, it helps fill out the card too. It's also a nice little pivot away for the story of Becky with Lyra and Bayley. And while I think maybe Bayley and Lyra go off and have their singles program, a more clean cut one, they can always circle back with Becky. It gives it a little break. You can't just have those 3 women going at it every single week over and over again in different combinations. I think stepping away for a bit and having Nikki Bella slide in there, it's good for the fan reactions. And again, I said, I think that Nikki was going to have that one-on-one match with Liv. This gets Nikki Bella into a clear-cut one-on-one match with a high-profile existing star in Becky Lynch. If they do that match, I think Becky retains. They just continue that winning streak right now. Another match I suspect that they will do at Clash, give you that international feel with these 2 international stars, would be Rusev versus Sheamus. Now, I like the match that they had on Raw. It ended in the DQ. You got both guys brawling backstage. WWE does this from time to time, and I like it because they continue the brawl and the action all through the arena. I like when they did it with Seth and Bronson Reed, and they did Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. A lot of Bronson Reed in there for those types of segments, but I find it works when you have 2 guys that are just in a grudge match feud, and they just keep brawling every single week, and maybe they just keep upping the stakes, upping the ante. Like, let's see Rusev go through a car window or something. Just up the violence. Give us that hard-hitting match. So I think that they might culminate this in an ambulance match, a no DQ, no holds barred, a fight in Paris. They'll just call it a street fight, but they'll call it like a Paris street fight or something. Rusev versus Sheamus. I think they want to do that for that international crowd, and you have Sheamus go over on Rusev to pick up a very clean victory over there. That does feel like a little bit of a Raw match, main event Raw even, but you know what? From time to time, they have been putting in those lower card matches, like a Sami Zayn Karrion Kross. They've put on the PLEs to an extent. Dom versus AJ Styles is arguably a Raw main event, but they put it on the PLEs, or like they had planned to put it on Night of Champions, and then we got it at SummerSlam. So stuff with not necessarily the hottest feud going on, but it'd be entertaining. So I'm gonna say that that's gonna make it. Then we get into some bigger stuff, some bigger options. Now, Mr. Cody Rhodes himself, he stayed babyface at SummerSlam, and that was all fine and dandy. He hugged it out with John Cena, and Mr. Cody is going to be now your undisputed champion, probably for the rest of the year. I don't see him losing that belt, but we'll talk about that a different day. So who does Cody fight? And does he even fight a Clash in Paris? I think they're gonna want Cody on the show. He's a big champion. He's a big champ. I do think you want to have Cody represented there doing something, and maybe even setting the stage for possible matches at Survivor Series. There's still Crown Jewel in there, which might tell me, is Crown Jewel going to be champ versus champ again for the big Mega Crown Championship once again? That'll be interesting. So I think for Cody, they got a couple of weeks here. They got a good enough timeline to get a match in there. I'm going to say that he's going to go up against Drew McIntyre. I was surprised that the tag team celebrity match with the Jelly RK Roll, they lost and the heels won, which made logical sense because it was basically a handicap match. Why would Randy Orton be able to win that against two like big bad guys? I think that because they got the victory there, you can insert Drew McIntyre. I was going to say into Cody Rhodes, but that's gross. But you could have Drew go up against Cody and maybe kickstart that as a big feud for several months. I would just love to see Drew McIntyre back up in the title division. He can argue, he goes, I got a big tag team victory over there. I've beaten a bunch of you guys. I want to get back to the title scene. And I think Cody needs that. He needs those big star opponents. Does he need to go up against the Brock again? Maybe he will down the road, but we don't need another Logan Paul match. We did the Randy Orton match already. So for bad guys, Drew feels like it's it, at least right now. So I'm going to say Drew McIntyre, Clash in Paris against Cody. Cody would retain, but there could be shenanigans at the end, so they could try to extend the feud. Give me that almost Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes feud. Starts off like a standard match, and then it keeps escalating month after month. And give something creative for Cody to do. Okay, in the other match, I'm going to say they're going to do this at Clash in Paris. CM Punk versus LA Knight. Now with Seth, he did have the title match against LA Knight on Monday Night Raw. It was a great match. I suspected LA Knight was going to get that rematch. I just didn't think they were going to do it on Raw so quickly. I kind of pegged that for Clash in Paris. But if they're not going to do that now and do any type of rematch for LA versus Seth, then I think that what you can do is a grudge match, a little butting of the heads of CM Punk, LA Knight, two massive babyface stars. You're gonna want Punk, kind of like Cody, you want Punk on these shows for WWE. Big international affair. Same with LA Knight. He didn't get a match at SummerSlam, which was very odd. And I think you want to keep LA Knight hot. He gets massive reactions. Put LA Knight, CM Punk, haven't seen it before other than, did they touch hands in the gauntlet match? I can't remember, but they haven't really had a one-on-one match to my recollection. Put those two guys in the ring, maybe a schmozzy finish where Seth and his guys the Braun brothers get involved and they take them both out. That could then set up at Crown Jewel a tag team match. The Braun brothers versus CM Punk and LA Knight. So I'm going to say that CM Punk, LA Knight, they go one-on-one. Now, I started looking at the whole poster and even on WWE's website, they show different superstars that are scheduled to be there, like at Clash in Paris. So for example, Jey Uso is advertised. Tiffany Stratton is also advertised. I don't know what match Jey Uso would be in. Gunther's off, and Gunther I almost had pegged to go up against Cody if they wanted to switch Gunther to a different brand. And then Cody has that program, but Gunther may have that actual injury with the nose, and they may just keep him off TV for a while. So unless Gunther appears on SmackDown and says, I'm coming after you, Cody Rhodes, I mean, that'd be cool. But I see it being more likely a Drew McIntyre. So for Tiffany Stratton, though, if Tiffany did show up for Clash, she had the match with Jade. Didn't work for me, brother. I just found it very flat. It was very short, and I thought Jade would win that thing, but they're still rolling with Tiffany. Now Tiffany is out of kind of opponents lined up. Could you do Bianca returning to face Tiffany at Clash? Very possible. They got to build that story very quickly, I think. And you could add Jade in there. Maybe it's a triple threat because you have the dynamic of Jade and Bianca, and with Tiffany all in there, they all kind of have history. That could work if they're going to have a match with Tiffany at Clash. But again, Jey Uso just came off the tag team match with Mr. Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. I don't see Jey there, but I know they love him and the live crowd loves Jey Uso. So would he fight Braun Breaker one-on-one? And I know that's more than probably what I've listed is probably more than like 5 or 7 matches. It's just the possible matches they could do at this show. I always feel like they want to get Jey on the shows, but it's rarefied air. So I'm putting a pin in Tiffany and Jey. I don't know if they'd make it or not. But the final match, I suspect they're going to do a Clash. John Cena Brock Lesnar. Cena's schedule shows that he's going to be at the next couple of SmackDowns. The international shows that they are also doing leading up to Clash in Paris. Cena is scheduled to be there too. And I gotta think, with Brock coming back at the main event of SummerSlam, taking out Cena with an F5, that looks to be the match. One final Brock match for Cena. They go through the history, kind of like what they've done with Randy Orton, kind of like what they did with CM Punk at Night of Champions. You pull their whole history together, and it just kind of speaks for itself. Does John Cena win? Probably not, because now he's lost the title and he's a good guy. So Cena can just start losing. It's not that that's what everyone wants. So many people would say, Cena beat Brock Lesnar, please. But I got to assume with Brock being on TV again, he's going to go on his WrestleMania tour run coming up. So he's going to get through Cena, pick up a victory, and then moves on to something else that we can talk about at a later point. I don't see the Cena-Brock feud going more than a month. They didn't do it with anybody else aside from Cody, for Cody to get the belt. I feel like it would be one and done with Brock, and then Cena has like 2-3 more big shows that he's going to wrestle at, and then he retires. But let me know your predictions for Clash of Paris. And hey, if you want to talk more about SummerSlam, those two main events, Brock showing up and all that good stuff, click this video right here because we're going through our roundup for the SummerSlam main event. Subscribe to the channel. Have a great day. See ya.